Good morning. It's been a while. Hope everyone's doing well. Oh man. Let's see here. So, as you can see, those of you who have been around, X-Plane for any length of time, I'm sure you've heard of the X-Aviation, or I still can't pronounce it, but I'm gonna try it. J Roll On or J Rollin or something. I don't know, but it's the CRJ-200, the airplane that commercial operators love and passengers hate. So, very, very dated flight deck, as you can see. But it's one of those aircraft that, I don't know, especially for X-Plane, we don't get a lot of regional jets, and this thing just has a lot of character. The way it flies, to me, kind of keeps you on your toes. And, just in a weird way, it's kind of a fun airplane. So, anywho, we're in Shreveport, Louisiana, gate 3. And, the plan is, barring any unforeseens, barring also any issues with my broadband connection, the plan is to somehow get to Houston via EMG, and then we'll run a direct route to Plan B. I'm kind of curious to know where they got that one from, but we're just not going to ask questions. I think the runway favorite today is 14 departure, and we're just going to come up with some. I don't even know who the heck operates this flight, but we'll just come up with something. I don't know. There we go. Just throw it in there. There we go. Alright, so Doobie2 will be the arrival, via Plan B, and I think 15 right, be the runway. Alright, so yeah, very, very crude flight management computer, nothing extravagant, nothing that's gonna fly the airplane, pour your coffee, and read you a bedtime story at the same time. And this thing's very, very rudimentary. I mean, it's good for what it does, but it's, rudimentary. So, let's see here. Nav sources. Of course, it's going to be on FMS. Format. Let's see. There we go. That's our flight plan listed there. Double check and make sure my active sky is running. Yeah, okay, so that's good there. Let's see. 290. And what we'll do, we'll go ahead and fire up the APU. Should be coming up here in a minute. Tell you what, like you take a 3-week hiatus, and OBS seems like every time I come on, OBS gets progressively worse. Because I used to be able to, at one point I was able to just use the actual game capture, kind of what it's meant for, and for some reason now I can't, so I don't know. And let's see, nav on, we don't need you anymore. So at this point, I can disconnect you. That's done, so we'll open up the isolation valves there. Packs are on for now. And does any of this work? Yeah, I don't know if this works anymore. I don't know. We're supposed to get version 2, but I don't. At this point, I don't see that happening. I don't. From what the forums say, it's in the works. But you know, it's one of those situations, in my opinion, where it's just like, you know, we're just not gonna. It's gonna ignore the demand and come out with something else nobody wants. If I see another 747 or a freaking A320 or 737, I'm just gonna hurl. But good news is, if you don't have X-Plane 11, I would highly recommend you getting it if you like regional aircraft, since X-Crafts I think is actually going to be doing a Embraer, like the entire Embraer family. So the 135 135 and no, I'm sorry 145 I think, and I think they're doing the XR. I believe so. Should be pretty cool. In the unlikely event of a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks will fall from the panels above your head. Pull the mask firmly towards you to start the flow of oxygen. Place the mask over your nose and mouth and secure the. Wait for her to do her thing. I think we should be about ready to push. Your seatbelt should be worn low and tight. To fasten your seatbelt, insert the flat metal fitting into the buckle until it clicks. To tighten, pull on the loose end of the strap. It's going off from memory here. Better push back, pre-plan. They probably already have me set up. Yep.
Ground to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
There's Dr. Phil next door. I mean, yeah, next door. Alright. My beacon light on, drop pumps on, APUs on, isolation valves open, boost pumps both sides. Wait for. Alright, let's see what's on. And.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
See if we can get out of here. So the plan is take off, should be strip 240, well, a very slow strip to 240, and I'm gonna get coffee. So I'm sure a lot of you, most of you are getting up.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Oh, man.
Winching strap and adapter in position. Release parking brake when ready to start pushback.
I center myself a little bit, kind
of. Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Alright, so pushing back there, so Jump, packs off, put in the right engine. Okay, I'm gonna wait to about 23. Here we go. So I want to say, if I recall, the manual says like 19%, but see the ITTC, you know, kind of. Yeah. I think last night I tried 19%. It jumped higher than that, so I don't know if it makes a difference if they, you know, if the flight model's that in depth, but I try to spin into up a little bit more, try to keep the ITTs down. Alright, there's number 2, fire up 1. And once again, folks, if I lose you, it's my internet. Just let you know. I don't know if someone like damaged the line or something like that. I'm not sure.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
Alright.
Disconnecting tail. Stand by.
Get my trim set a little bit on 7.3. Isolation valves off, packs on.
Tow is disconnected and bypass bin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Good. Alrighty, 1-4. I think she's over yonder. So park and brake off. Got damper on. It's gonna be fun, and I've flown this thing forever. Get myself situated. There we go. Bump the speed up just a smidgen here. Man, those BBS sounds are amazing. They're old, but man, they are amazing. And I don't know. Maybe it's the plug-in. It seems like there's I guess there's an issue with the plug-in. But the little runway, little centerline bumps sometimes are a little exaggerated. But still pretty good nonetheless. I know there are quite a few that I do. Why are you still, you know, on this thing? Since like, man, I think it's 10 years old. Like 10 years old now, and yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I mean, really, okay, you give this thing a texture update, you know, maybe brush up the 3D model here and there, but I mean, all in all, it's still a pretty good airplane. I mean, there are some nuances in the did I say that right? No, nuances in the avionics. They're just are not 100% accurate, but you can almost fool yourself, you know, fool yourself into thinking that you're, you know, and the actual thing. You know, especially if you close your eyes and I mean, I'll do it right now. It's kind of weird, but if you close your eyes and you just listen to the audio, you probably wouldn't know the difference. Alright, so leaving good old Shreveport. I actually drove through Shreveport yesterday and got a king cake from there. Not sure if y'all are familiar with, but you know, during the Mardi Gras season in the South, there's pastry that's called a king cake and has a little plastic baby in there. Why, I don't know, but that little plastic baby in there, and you know, whoever finds that gets buys next year's king cake. And my wife found it. It's pretty hilarious. But anyway, even though I paid for it. But anyway, so went through there, and you know, there's a lot of history in Shreveport. A lot of history, a lot of older homes, things like that. So pretty cool. Now, this is supposed to be the freaking toga button, but yeah, nothing. So I don't know. Maybe it's broke. Groups on, it's off. Dr. Phil sounds all angry. I better stop calling him Dr. Phil. I gotta give him another name. Maybe, I don't know. Something. Bob. Well, yeah, Bob. Call you Bob. Oh, alright, so we're going to take the active here. I'm going to assume that we got clearance because I'm still not 100% satisfied with X-Plane's ATC. Which at some point, I guess I need to try Pilot Edge. I got a little jaded with Flight Sim. I'm not Flight Sim, but VAT Sim years ago, and I haven't used it since. Let's see if I can get myself halfway situated. Alright, that's close enough. Right on the numbers there. Alright. I'm sure good to go. Everything looks halfway decent. Alright, cool. Alright, just stabilized. Go ahead and come up with it. Enter instruments and limits. Airspeed is alive. Keep a little nose down pitch there. Got a little choppiness there. Alright, we'll rotate. Possibly climb. Oh man, trying to do that and like bring that gear up is a challenge. Alright, flaps up. Goes down there, bring my speed up a little bit. I'm shooting for 240, but let me get myself situated here, and we'll get our heading bug. And I need a lot of trim. There we go. Alright. Speed. Alright, let's see here. Go ahead and gauge the autopilot for right now. Kind of gauge autopilot, help us out a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna come up to about 230, and that that right turn outbound. And what we're gonna do, yeah, you can kind of hear the sound pack showing his age, but that's all right. Let's see. Direct to Plan B. Execute that. Now. Alright, so now what we can do, we can walk it up to. You want to be careful, especially on the CRJ when you're using any type of speed mode or flight level change. Well, especially speed mode. Flight level change is not so bad, but going straight up to 240 knots, because what the airplane's going to do is going to try to pitch for 240. It's not going to change the it's not going to change your throttle input, since, you know, well, we all know on these awesome airplanes we have here, a lot of the regional DRGs aren't equipped with auto throttle, so it's going to use pitch to gain the airspeed, right? So what you need to do is, I found, you know, of course everyone has their own methodology behind it, but, you know, I try to kind of walk it up, so to speak. So, you know, come up maybe 220, 210, you know, get your 210 or, you know, whatever speed you're looking for. Just kind of step it up from there. That way you don't get such a drastic nose down attitude. That's makes it a little uncomfortable. See what happens there. I don't want to come up too much. So we'll turn all this off. Yeah, for the most part, you know, decent model. A full simulated cabin. I mean, still plenty of life left in her. Plenty of life, so. I know, right? And this thing's like 10 years old. You know, it even has, you know, First Officer Bob over there. Gonna be a little loud, but a 10-year-old flight model, and it looks amazing. You know, like I said, it could use a little work. You know, 3D model kind of sharpen things up, but for the most part, it's still pretty decent. Still pretty decent. Remember when this thing first came out, and this is literally all I flew. All I flew. This airplane is what brought me to X-Plane. It really did. I think I had X-Plane, oh man, what was it? X-Plane 10 or 9 back in the day. Was it 9? Maybe 9. I had 9 back in the day, and I'm gonna go ahead and say 10 because maybe 9. Anyway, but man, just flew the heck out of this thing, and I was like, no way you're coming out with CRJ, and yeah, came out with this, and like I said, the avionics aren't 100% there, but enough of it is there to give you a extremely immersive experience, which is kind of what we're all looking for. I mean, very few want that study level type deal, you know what I mean? But yeah, the 200, and I guess that's kind of, it's one of the reasons why we don't see this model simulated as often as we do other models. It's because most people on a passenger level, they honestly hate this airplane. It's, I mean, which those of us who are kind of familiar with the history, this airframe was based off of the I want to say the Challenger, if I'm not mistaken, the Canadair Challenger and Bombardier Challenger. I mean, but anyway, the engines I think are a little different, but basically they took that, took out some of the fancy smancy freaking avionics, added a fuselage plug here, fuselage plug or two to lengthen it, and that was it. That was the CRJ. So from the jump, it just was one of those aircraft that was not designed from scratch as a people hauler, but at the same time, economically, it was back when turboprops were on the decline, and people were a little jaded or tired of the your typical turboprop, and they wanted to get there quicker, and the what I'm trying to say, God bless it. Oh no. The the operators are looking for turboprop like economics and somewhat jet like speeds, and they came up with this thing, which I mean, in that show, it's a little faster than most turboprops out there. But even I think the Q400 gives this thing a run for its money. But so there you have it. And then of course you had the Embraer 145 and 135, but this airplane for some reason simply flooded the market. Which I'm sure there are some attributes that are associated with the success. I mean, relatively cheap to operate, really not that much training involved. I mean, you can, if you recall the startup process, it's literally, APU, bleed air, packs off, ignition, and start, and I mean, that's it. So, no real in-depth training, involved, and, which makes it perfect for, regional carriers, since, I mean, normally in a airline pilot's career, normally what's your first step is regional. So, you know, jumping one of these instead of, you know, jumping into a Saab or a Q400 or something like that, you know, you're jumping straight into an RJ and you're building, you know, gobs and gobs of turbine time. Which made it that much more attractive. So, you know, hence the reason why, you know, we've seen CRJs, you know, dominate the market for years. I mean, quite a long time, you know, thus far. But with that being said, you know, you can't help but wonder exactly how much life this thing has in it. Because I'm going to go ahead and tell you, the CRJ I was in a couple days ago, I mean, the thing looked tired. You know, it looked wore out. So, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think these things are built to the same quality as, oh no, a lot of your, is this head moving? I've had this thing for, wow, forever, and that's interesting. Anyway, so that's kind of, anyway, but, you know, I don't think these things are built to the same, I don't know if it's the materials they use or what, but I don't think this thing is built to the same quality as like your DC-9s, MD-83s, or even like the 737, you know, 737-200, 400, and, you know, on up. And so I don't know if carriers are going to be able to get the same amount of I'm pretty sure they can get the cycles. I know they can get the cycles, but I guess the same, I don't know how long these, you know, they're going to be able to run these things for the same length of time as, you know, your, I guess your legacy aircraft like your MD-80s and all that. You know, I don't really see it. I mean, I could be wrong, you know, could see these things for freaking years. But you know, and I mean, as far as flying wise, I mean, I've heard some flight crews, some flight crews love them and some flight crews hate them. I mean, they're just, I mean, looking at how they're, you know, how the wing is designed, there are no leading edge slats, so I don't know if you notice at times, but, you know, sometimes on approach, you have the feeling as if you're coming in kind of flat, or, you know, depending on the flap settings, a lot of times you're coming in at kind of a nose down attitude. And, you know, the wing makes it really good up high, but, you know, with no leading edge devices there to increase the wing's surface area. I mean, the approach speeds are insane. You know, they're talking about like 140 knots, you know, on approach speed. So you're coming in fast with this weird nose down attitude, and I mean, landings on this thing are interesting. They're very, very interesting. And you know, if you can get the thing down, you know, in one piece and not cause a scene, I mean, you're doing pretty good. But, you know, I mean, what was it? This guy's bigger brother, the 700, seems like they got a lot of things right with it. Leading edge slats, I think the engines are different on it. And, from a passenger perspective, to me, it seems like a much more of a comfortable ride. You know, but you know, even those you see, you know, you see a lot of the times running those regional-ish, mainline-ish type routes. So, you know, Shreveport to Houston, you're not, I mean, I'll be surprised if I saw a CRJ-700 running a route like that. You know, most of your, what, 100 to 250, yes, I know the singer's probably broken, I know. But most of those routes there are usually ran by either Embraers, the Embraer family, like the 145, 135, or you'll see this thing of beauty here at the gate. But you know, once you get to the airport, you know, like your larger airports, you'll start seeing, you know, 700s, you know, make those 500 to 1,000 mile type trips. I mean, I'll go ahead and tell you, 500 miles in this thing is brutal, to say the least. But you know, it's managed to survive this long, so must be doing something right. But going back to the article I saw the other day. Apparently, like I said, AKRacing is looking to, actually, I think it's in beta now. The Embraer 145LR, I know for sure, and the 145XR are indeed coming to X-Plane. And so, you know, of course, everybody's like freaking just, you know, take my money. Then on the P3D end of the spectrum, as far as sims are concerned, everyone was kind of hit with another, you know, huge piece of news. Apparently, you know, well, I'm not going to say we all know, but Phil there was a developer back in the day. I say back in the day, I'm talking like early 2000s. They put out a Embraer 145LR, 145XR, and the 135 family of RJs for flight sim or flight simulator, and just dominated the market. And I don't quite know what happened. I'm not even gonna venture to guess what happened, but I mean, they just seemed to have kind of, I don't know, you know, not worried about it, or got busy doing other things, or whatever, or you know, what have you. Well, fast forward up until a couple weeks ago, which, I mean, even back then, I mean, their models were great, but they just weren't just great, I guess you can say. So once again, but their avionics were spot on. So once again, fast forward up until a couple weeks ago, they're coming out with a 175. Man, I need to pull up the article again. But anyway, I want to say, actually, we're getting pretty close to Houston. Let's do this. Whoa. Stop it. Oh my gosh, X-Plane, good lord. I blame X-Plane, but it's not. I mean, I think they've long since added the different manipulators to move knobs and such. Alright, so bring the power back. And jump in that vertical speed mode. And we'll start about 2,100 foot per minute. anyway, but so I'm browsing through the news and came up on this article that Phil there and AKRacing Heaven, which they do a lot of work for Just Flight, have started this collaboration on doing a the E-Jet family, which is what, the 17, 175 and the 195 or something like that, or it might just be doing the 175. I don't remember. Anyway, so they're doing the 175. So if that be the case, and Phil there, which I've always thought that Phil there could get somebody on their squad that could do the 3D modeling, and they focus on what they do best, the the actual avionics, flight management and all that. Let's see if we can break the sound barrier. Heck no, you can't break this. You could barely make it to the airport on time in this thing. I mean, I guess you could break the sound barrier, but it'd be, I think the airplane would break apart around us by the time we actually got to that point. But yeah, so Phil. Oh man, it's a good idea though. I may try that later. But yeah, Phil there. They if they they do what they do best, which is the avionics, flight management system, and all that. I mean, the thing will be a force to be reckoned with. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not going to sit there and tell you that it will make it, that it would indeed make the competition irrelevant, but just in my humble opinion, if this works out the way I'm thinking it's going to work out, yeah, it's going to put some pressure on the market for sure, which is good. It keeps development studios from resting on their laurels, and keeps the innovation going. Isn't that the whole point of what makes X-Plane and even Flight Sim now so interesting, is the variety of aircraft that you have to work with at your disposal, or to purchase or whatnot. But yeah, so I think it'll be pretty nice to finally get, because Phil there did the 175, like I think the entire E-Jet family way back in the day, and once again, I mean, the flight model left a lot to be desired, but I mean the way the thing flew, the FADEC, the simulated FADEC that was on the aircraft, I mean, all of that was spot on. Well, not really spot on, but you know what I mean. I mean, it's close enough to give you the illusion that you're in the actual thing. You know what I mean? Even I have to catch myself sometimes. You say spot on things just like 100%. No. If you're looking for spot on, I mean, you're looking to spend quite a bit of money, and I'm thinking the price point that they're going to be shooting for is probably $50-$60. I haven't seen the exact number just yet, but I want to venture to say, probably in the neighborhood, 50, 60. Don't be surprised if you see 70. So that being said, then I would love to see an update on this thing. I mean, like I said, you really, because I think even now it got an update to make it at least work with X-Plane 11, which, shout out to X-Aviation for pushing that through. But anyway, you know, even if they got just a, you know, texture update, you know, the heck with the 3D model. Keep it as is. I mean, it'll still be miles ahead of the one that was released back. I think the last CRJ-200 that I've seen for any flight sim was, I think, Wilco Pub. Or maybe it was Phil There. I think Phil There did one years ago. I'm talking almost 20 years ago? Has it been that? It has not been that long. Yeah, close to 20 years ago. They did a CRJ-200. I mean, even that one was like, you know, for its time, was like, oh my gosh, it's awesome. You know, but what we'll do here, we'll shallow this thing up, and we'll go ahead and bring the throttles to idle. So the runway that is planned is 15 Romeo, or 15 right. It will be a visual approach, and I don't think yeah, I'm not even going to bother with an ILS. We're just going to shoot the visual and go from there. So we'll go ahead and hit those landing lights on. Seatbelt signs on. Everything else pretty much as is. Not much change there. I don't know, the visibility is looking pretty sketchy. We may be doing an ILS here. Yeah, we might be doing an ILS approach. I'm not 100% sure. Let's see. Go ahead and get my charts pulled up. So what we'll do, we'll tune to, which we probably should have done this like forever ago, but yeah. Alright, so ATIS 125. Alright, so we'll go to the radio, come here, come 124.05. Okay, so that changed up on us. Whoops. Let's see if I can. There we go. Alright, so what we need to do, flight plan, departure and arrival. Seriously, you have nothing for so no ILS approaches, huh? Yeah, we'll try to shoot GPS, I guess. Invalid what? Or maybe not. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. We are going to... I mean, the winds aren't that bad. 180, because see, according to this, it's coming out of the south, so yeah, we'll do this. We'll stick to runway 15, execute. Let me get my plate for... Okay, 15, right, 111.15. And we'll hold $4,000. Alright, bring the power up just a little bit. Heading mode, sync there, and let's see. Approach course is 149. There we go. Yeah, so what we'll need to do, we'll make a right turn there as we're coming from the kind of east almost. So we'll make a right turn to the north, and that should get us situated for the approach. That's the plan, at least. I'm gonna power up just a little bit. I find it kind of odd that we haven't even picked up the ILS. I find that very odd. Let's see. 111.15. Yeah, I find that very strange. Let's see if it'll even ident. I mean nothing. Alright, so let's see, what else do we have? Really, not a whole lot to work with. It's gonna be you know, know what? We'll just come out and see what is that 08 rate, and we'll just have to wrestle with a little crosswind. 08, right? What is that one? That'd be 10. 109 point. So I'm so used to using that one. 109.70. There we go. We got that one. Get that approach course in of 087. Approach course of 87, so we'll make that. So right now we're heading kind of northwest. So what we'll need to do, we'll make another turn to the south. And then cut east. And go from there. Yeah, visibility is, yeah, not there at the moment. As you can see, we got the approach course there, DME there. Now we should be able to hear it, or hear the Morse code identifier, but for some reason not hearing that. So as you can see, you're not going to get the little pretty runway or anything like that to kind of orient you, at least. You know, it's kind of back to the old Cessna 172 days, except you're in a jet. Alright. They're about 11 miles out. And this is going to be interesting. Very interesting. Right turn kind of out a little bit. Well, good job, Active Sky, because it's been a while since I've gotten weather this accurate. So as you can see, I'm really not paying a whole lot of attention to what's outside. I mean, we can kind of see what's immediately below us there, but I mean, nothing of use, so. And honestly, this would be much easier, you know, without traffic control. Now they'll give you vectors and get you set up for the ILS, and that way, you know, if you try to ident it, it doesn't ident, or there's an issue with the ILS, you know, system, which does happen. You know, you can at least, you know, they can at least give you vectors and get you set up for something else. Yeah, it's kind of, I got to flip there. Okay, there's a glide slope. Okay, cool. So what I want to do, kind of make that turn outbound. We'll come up with a little power. Yeah, if you can look here, this is our DME, or distance measuring equipment. So you can look and you see we are about 11.7 miles from the actual measuring equipment that's on the ground for this ILS approach that we're going to be shooting. So that being said, you want to give yourself, because let's say, for example, if you're on a procedure turn, right? So that procedure turn is set up for a certain distance DME, or distance away from this guy, to give you a chance to kind of come out, swing back around, and land. If you happen to be running a procedure turn, which, you know, no one really does that I know of, unless you're training anymore. And we'll come up, so we'll come out to about 17-18 miles, and we'll make that turn, get ourselves set up, which, since we're facing away from the ILS, our deviation is actually going to be flipped, which you'll see here shortly. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and wait to about 18 miles. So what we'll do, we'll slow down. Right now we're about like 240 knots, so we'll slow down a little bit and see if we're any other kind of normal airplane. I'll drop a little flaps, or something like that, and then slow down. I'll go down to like a buck 80, and then I'll make that turn. But since we're in this thing, try to get it down about 200. We'll just go ahead and get out of it, but kind of keep it spooled up to where you can dive right back into it. Alright, should be good now. So we'll if you want to try to keep this turn as tight as possible. And make sure we got enough fuel to do what we need to do. Yeah, we're good. We're good. So yeah, we're going to dive right back into it there. And we are uncoordinated as I don't know what. Let's see. Try to get under there with the pedals. And we'll go ahead and arm our approach mode. So right now we're about 21 out, which isn't horrible. That gives us the opportunity to, one, get established on the localizer, which will be our horizontal guidance. And once we get established on the localizer and get stabilized, then we'll capture our vertical guidance, which is our glide slope there. And should be good. Boy, did that thing flip. That is odd. Because normally what's supposed to happen, the closer you are, the more sensitive it gets. But that, man, that flipped. And we'll lose a little altitude. It'll come down to 3,000. What's our final approach? Let's see. Alright, make 5.6 get me out. Alright, 2,000. Yeah, that thing did a flip on us. And you can kind of look at the ground until we're getting pushed all kinds of awesome directions. So we're in localizer mode. Now, keeping in mind, this is the first time I've shot an ILS approach with this thing, or attempted to shoot an ILS approach this thing in the years. So I don't know if this thing's even capable of shooting one. Alright, come up a little bit. Alright, so as this thing says it's trying to track the localizer, but I'm not 100% convinced that it is trying to track the localizer unless we're just that bloody far out. Let's see, there's a glide slope there. Let's see, we're 9 miles out. parts. Let's see if we can do this the old-fashioned way. Man. Drop a little flaps there. Like if we're as close as this thing says we are, we should be seeing something. I think I got the airport there. Gear down. Yeah, I think I got it. That's all I got, but see if we can throw everything including the kitchen sink out here, get us yeah, it's a little thick today. Then we do got a little bit of a crosswind. There we go, we got runway side. Never, it's gonna do not want to get slow in this thing. Give me a butt ton of trim. Okay. And we got tailwind, so that's gonna be awesome. So yeah, as you can kind of tell, the little nose down pitch we got going on there. I'll tell you, if the weather's like this in Houston right now, they are having some fun. Goodness gracious. Alright. Try to hit the touchdown aiming point markers there. Okay. Oh yeah, she's floating. And 60 knots. Man, we floated that one from here to Kingdom Come. Goodness gracious. Woo! Came in just a little too hot. I'll be alright though. I probably should have aimed a little short of where I was coming for, and just cut the power because I think we were coming at like 140, like shooting almost like 140, 145. And probably just came in and cut the power and just bled off airspeed while we were in ground effect, and went about it that way. But be alright. I'll be alright. Let's see here. Try to get this thing cleaned up. And I don't know if this scenery is accurate or not. And pick up the pace a little bit. Alrighty. Those awesome sound effects there. Alrighty, let's see here. Oh, and while I have you, hopefully if everything works out next month or so, we'll be probably trying to run a podcast. We'll just kind of see how schedules work out, that's fun stuff. And just sometimes I kind of want to talk, not fly at the same time, and yeah. There's a regional section at this airport. I don't know if the scenery, oh, it might have it. It might have it, or it may not, I don't know. Or it may not have it. I am going to lean on the end of the spectrum that says they don't have it. So we'll just find us a hole here. Yeah, we'll just find us a hole here and call it slick. Really now? Awesome. We're just parking private aircraft there. Cool. So that there, what you're looking at, looks kind of like a CRJ-200. So all right. And that's about right. We'll call it good there. And all this nah, you're a little late, bud. There we go. And there we go. All that's off. Parking brake is set. Go. Alrighty. Well, there you have it. Oh, now it's time for coffee. But yeah, so just stay tuned. Hopefully we'll get everything lined up and try this podcast and see how this thing goes. I don't know. I try not to take it too seriously. Cool. Till then, guys, you guys have a rest, an awesome rest of your Friday, and we'll see you later.